Nithyanandam. My name is Nithya Mahavidya Ananda and I am talking to you from the Nithyananda Peetham, Bengaluru Aadheenam, the home of the Avatar, Paramahamsa Nithyananda. See, you have heard me speak on various topics, but what you have not heard me speak is about some of the very interesting clicks I have and why I got here in the search of real aerospace engineering. It was very fantastic actually. Yesterday, I got an opportunity to work with a Balasan on Vaimanik Shastra, the science of Vaimanas, the science of flying vehicles, which is the original aerospace and aeronautical engineering from the Sanatana Hindu Dharma. So, what was my role? I went to the Balasan and I started to speak to him about the cognitions and understandings of the current aerospace engineering world that I have. You may not know me, but I have been a professor of aerospace engineering for the last 6 7 years, and I have done immense work in the field for the last 15 years. I even have a book on the topic. So you can say I'm an expert in the field. Now, from an expert, when I started to speak to this Balasant, I understood some very fundamental things. For those of you listening to me, whether you are an aerospace engineer or not, you have had basic physics. And if you had basic level physics, you know everything that we do in physics starts with this underlying um, cognition of the truth, which is if I am sitting and I have to move, which means I will have to apply a force that is much more than the attractive force of the gravity. Okay, think about it. If you have to move a car, your fundamental principle is there's going to be drag and I'm going to have to overcome the drag. If you're trying to fly a rocket, the fundamental principle is there is weight and has to be counteracted. So all the time we are only working on this idea that we have to counteract something that already exists. The starting fundamental is there is something that exists that does not want me to change. Why? You will remember the exact phrase that I've just shared with you as the first law of Newton. Body remains in inertia as long as you don't move it. When you move it, it starts to move. And if you want to move it, then you need a force to move it. That's the second law, right? F equals ma. And then comes the third law. If you want to push, you need a pull. So you need equal and opposite reactions. And there comes the third law. These three laws, whether you like it or not, whether we understand it or not, have become the core of our lifestyle. Why, think about it. If a spoon falls, you bend down to pick it up. Have you ever thought that you can actually make the spoon come to you? No. If you fall down, you really put effort on the floor to get up. Why? Have you observed that some of those very flexible yogic bodies, athletes, will not need to do that. Anyone who's flexible will just pick themselves up, right? How many times have you observed that um, in engineering world they would have spent millions of dollars on fuel, on propulsion system just to try to take the rocket up? Why? The rocket world is just immensely expensive. It is a piece of really like a piece of junk that needs to fly up, and it is a heavy piece of junk because it needs to carry all the fuel for it to fly up. Just imagine the rocket when it comes up to the space and it just touches the atmosphere, all of the weight that it was carrying, it starts to shed out. So much weight, all based on one fundamental principle, that there is weight and we need to counter it. When I was teaching this Balasant, this cognition hit me so hard that I did not feel like continuing. Although I did, it just became very clear that because of that fundamental premise, all of aerospace engineering is happening. Why, think about it? Aerodynamics starts from there, propulsion starts from there, even control system starts from there. And so does flight dynamics. And so does spacecraft mechanics, spacecraft dynamics, every single thing, acceleration devices, torque meters, passivity control, uh, coulomb forces, take it, so on and so forth. One fundamental principle has guided this entire century of work. It is sad actually because aerospace industry is the most expensive industry today in the world. It is also the most guarded industry because of the security that it provides and the safety that nations feel with it. Every nation has a secret project. Whether you agree with it or not, there is always one. There is a satellite tracking project, there is a surveillance project, there is a reconnaissance project. There will also be a military aeronautics project, there will be an unmanned air vehicle project. So many things, just because of one fundamental assumption. It is sad actually, because I wasted my life 30 years with one wrong assumption. Had I known the truth, which is everything, the source of me and the source of that floor and the source of this vehicle is the same. So I don't need force. I only need a language to speak to this source. That language is what an avatar can awaken in you. That language is what we feel as intuition sometimes, although that's not the right word. It is the language that you feel between people when you interact with them without words. It is the language when you know that it is going to rain. It is the language when you can speak to the nature. It is the language that you can speak to objects with. It is the language through which you can view far away distances, even that you can't view through your two eyes. It is the language that you can see with your eyes closed. It is the language that can scan someone's body and say exactly what it is that they are suffering from. It is that powerful language, language of oneness. And the manifesting powers is the way it expresses itself. The communication, the science of it, the biology and the physics and the chemistry is what the avatar reveals for you every day. So see, what I am saying to you is my own experience. I have experienced these powers. I have experienced moving objects without having to do anything with external force. I have moved them. I have had rain manifested for me. Why? I've even had, a random ride come to me. I have been in control of my life since I have learned this communication. And this more and more as it awareness happens, more and more understanding of how my body and mind works, more and more I manifest. So let me expand a little bit on what I mean by body and mind works. See, body is the vessel which carries you. It is the vessel which is going to communicate with what is in front of us. Mind is a collection of thoughts. Actually, mind is nothing else. It's just a random collection of thoughts. If your thoughts per second go down, the mind has no existence of its own. And at that space, when there is no thoughts per second and you become this pure vessel, that is where communication starts to happen with the pure core of you, which is the Amritattva, right? Understanding this body mind system is understanding the five layers of it, the five koshas as they are called, the five sheaths, the physical layer, the pranic layer, and so many other various aspects of it. Only when you understand each sheath, only when you understand each layer, will you start layer by layer, remove all the ideas and understandings that you have carried and go touch that Amritattva. All that I have said is a true experience in so many of us. So if you want to experience the same, it's very easy to do. Just sign up for the Nitya Dhyana Yoga program. It comes from where you are. You don't have to move anywhere. Just sit at home and sign up and see how you can awaken these energy chakras and how you can awaken the koshas within you and see how you can become the communication channel of maybe the next flying vehicle that doesn't need a propulsion system. That is going to be 100% safe and will not require us to be in argument of who is faster and who is slower. To global peace and global warming and to the new upcoming revolutions in technology, here's Mahavidya saying goodbye to you and opening up the doors for you to manifest some powers. Nithyanandam.